Hi everyone, welcome to Wendy Speaks. I am your host D. First, let me just say thank you. Thank you for taking out time of your day, to be here. I know life is busy, you've got things to do, but somehow you've decided to spend some time listening to me talk today. And this means a lot to me, and I just want to say thank you. Wendy Speaks is a space for real conversations. We're going to be talking about adulthood, the parts that nobody really prepares you for. We'll be talking about work, relationship, personal growth, resilience, and how to actually build a life that makes sense instead of just reacting to whatever is happening around you. We're not going to be stating theories or trying to prove points. We are not here for motivation, even that does sound good, but it doesn't really work. We're here because life is real and it is hard, and you need someone to actually talk about it honestly. So, if you're still figuring things out, if you're still finding your footing, if you're still struggling, even if you're winning and you want to win better, then the space is for you. If you hear what resonates with you, do me a favor, like, share, follow, comment, and share it with someone that you love. Send it to that friend who needs to hear this. Post it in your group chats. You know, let's just grow together. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Hi there. There's a part of life that most of us just, take for granted, and that's having friends that we can pray with, real friends, the kind that you can call when your heart is heavy, and you just be like, "Yo, I'm not in a very good place right now. Please pray for me." I watched a video with Eric. I watched a video of Eric, and he was talking about how overwhelming one of his events day was. So he literally just had to call a friend, and was like, "I just need you to pray for me right now," just like that. And I was thinking, how many of us, really have that? How many of us can actually call someone and ask them to just pray for us without feeling like we're being a burden to them? And today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, friends that actually hold you up and why those friendships are some of the most valuable things that you can have. So I've been thinking about this a lot, especially recently. There are seasons, even in my own life, where I'm just down, like mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. And sometimes it's very hard to even pray for yourself, right? Sometimes you can't just get yourself, together enough. Sometimes you probably just need to just sit down and just cry, right? And I think that's where having real friends matter. Not Instagram friends, not social media friends, not people who show up when things are good. The people who show up when things are heavy. And you know what, that prayer, that presence, that willingness to just hold the space from for you when things are falling apart, it changes things. And this is what I have realized. I've realized that there is a responsibility that comes with that kind of friendship, and I have seen people abuse that kind of privilege. They get close to someone, they build that trust, and then they start asking for money. They make the relationship transactional. They start taking advantage of proximity. They start billing you for no just reason. And that's how you kill the friendship. That's how you lose people who actually care about you, past the surface. And there's a difference between someone who is your friend and someone who is just trying to get money off of you. And people can actually feel that difference. I've had friendships that died because someone decided to turn every interaction into a transaction. So here's what I think about this kind of friendships. I think everyone needs a community that can hold them up. Think about marriage for a second. Two people supposed to be one flesh, right? But here's the thing. In real life, both of you are not always at 100% of your, of your feelings. You're not 100% emotionally, you're not 100% mentally, you're not 100% spiritually. Sometimes one person is at 100, the other person is at 40, one person is at 60, the other person is at 80. And in that moment, the person that has, the higher percentage has to be strong enough to lift the other person. That is how, community works. That's how relationship works. That means lifting the person emotionally, mentally, and even sometimes spiritually. And that's what real partnership looks like. And I'm not saying that you should, make every relationship a partnership. I'm just saying that is how a real partnership should look like. And you need that, that kind of partnership in friends too. You need people who can be 60 when you're at 40. You need people that can hold you down when you're falling, right? I also think that accountability groups and prayer communities aren't a luxury. I think they are actually a necessity, right? If you come from the kind of background I come from and the kind of church that I currently even worship in, accountability is key, right? A lot of people call these accountability groups, but really I think they're just a community of people who come together, who really care about each other enough to show up, enough to pray, to listen, to hold each other accountable to who they're trying to become. And I think apart from human bias, I think one of the best places to find this kind of people would be in church. Apart from human bias, right? Everybody has their own issues, right? So take note that I said that. I also think that the value of a real friendship is destroyed the moment it becomes transactional. I know there are some relationships that are built on transactions, and that just doesn't, mean billing them or asking them for money. Sometimes it involves tit for tat, right? I understand that, but the hard truth is that some friendships are worth more to you when you don't start asking for money. Some friends will plug you into opportunities that you never would have dreamt of, but they won't do that if every time they see your message it's followed by a request. People feel, when you are genuine, they know when you are genuine, and they know when you are using them, and they begin to pull back, right? You also have to bring value to your friendships, especially the ones that you want to keep. It's important. You can't just take and take and take. You also have to give. You have to show up for people. You have to pray for them. You have to be there for them. You have to add value to their lives, because real friendships are actually reciprocal. So how do we actually build and maintain these kind of friendships? I think the first thing that we have to do is to be intentional with who we let close and who we let into our lives. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability, right? You have to be intentional. You have to choose people who have shown repeatedly that they care about you beyond even sometimes what you can do for them. People that people that have proven that they are trustworthy. Then you have to build a genuine community around you. Find people, find your people, find the ones who get you, find the ones who can pray with you, the ones who understand what you are going through, the ones, who actually align with your goals in life. Well, they don't have to be doing exactly what you are doing, but they align. They are also in alignment with, where you guys are headed. You all have a plan. You all are heading somewhere. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be a huge one, 1, 2, or 3 real friends is better than 100 fake ones, if you think about it. I think thirdly, you have to bring value to your friendships. I mentioned this earlier. Ask yourself, what am I adding to these friendships? Am I just taking? Am I also there for people? Am I showing up for my friends? If you're always the one asking for help, asking for prayers, asking for money, I don't think you are building a friendship. You're probably even building a dependency, and that is bound to, fade away one day. They'll get tired of you being overly dependent, and they'll begin to avoid you. They'll begin to try to cut you off. Sometimes it happens unintentionally. It just happens. Growth just weeds you out of their life. And 4, I think you keep the friendship separate from transactions. If you need to borrow money from a friend, it's fine. Ask, borrow it. But keep, that transaction separate from your friendships. If you borrow money from a friend, you say you'll return it at a particular time, then do so. If you can't, communicate. That is why they are your friends. They are not a bank, right? Communicate. Make them understand why this thing has to be delayed. Right? Don't make every interaction about what you need. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there are friends that will plug you into life-changing opportunities, but only if they see you as a genuine person, not someone who is always trying to ask for something or take advantage of situations. Finally, you have to be there for people the way you want them to be there for you. When your friend is struggling, show up, pray for them, make time for them, be the person you would like for them to also be to you. That's how you build real friendships, real relationships, real community, and that's how you create friendships that actually matter. I don't believe that we're supposed to do this life alone, and I think that we need people that can hold us up. We need people that can pray with us. We need a community around us, people that we can talk to, people that we can share things with, share our life journey with. So today, it's a call for you to be intentional with your friendships, for you to protect them, and for you to add value in every friendship and every relationship that you find yourself in. Thank you for listening to me today. I'll see you on my next episode. Bye.